Good evening. I hope everyone's having a fantastic evening. Today is our Christmas special, and we've got a very special guest with us. Behind every successful king, there is a queen, and today we are joined by Isma Ali.
Hello everyone, and Merry Christmas.
Hello, Isma.
We were going to bring some mulled wine, but we thought better of it. Yes,
Yeah, I'm
my
still at
name
work.
is Isma Ali. My married name is Isma Stallard Kane, but I prefer not to use that. But if you look in the SKA, Stallard Kane Associates, I always say the A is Ali.
There you go. Perfect.
Right.
There you go.
Brilliant.
That's it.
Isma, thank you for coming today.
Pleasure, and thank you for inviting me.
For anybody that doesn't know who you are you, and what do you do?
Yes, my name's Isma Ali, as I've said. We're co-founder of Stallard Kane Associates, and the founders of SKA Compliance, SKA Risk Services, Employment Law, Training, and anything else that goes with running a business.
Right, okay.
Oh, and Pat Test UK.
Yeah.
There we go.
Missed that one out.
Wow. So we've had, no joke, we've had so many messages saying, when are you going to get a successful female entrepreneur on? And I kept saying to Lee, I was like, it's not about just getting anyone on. It has to be the right fit person for what we do. So we had to get you on.
Yeah.
Thank you very
Thank
much for
you.
coming.
And we've had a lot of people saying, when are you going to get a female on? So
Yes,
there we
yeah.
go.
We just look like silly buggers, don't we, with these hats on, but
Yeah, Christmas special.
Christmas
Hey.
special.
It's the last one of the year, so
Isma, what was your early school life like?
The early school life was really good. I was quite clever at school, believe it or not. But it was really good. But I had my brothers and sisters round us all the time at school, mainly because of racism. It's a big racism problem when I was younger, to the point where we'd get picked on.
oh, okay.
So brothers and sisters would help, and like my eldest brother, bless him, he taught one of my sisters how to square punch somebody in the nose. And I'm not advocating violence or anything like that. We're going back years and years.
Yeah.
But these girls constantly waited for her outside the school gates and would push her and kick her. So my brother said, just one of them. And she did, and they never came near her again.
Yeah.
But people wouldn't sit next to you at school. They'd call you this, that and the other. And Mum and Dad had to go through hell because of it, because you've got us coming home saying, somebody's called me. So the P word was used a lot, and we'd get, people would mimic us, draw pictures of us, like colours in brown. The girls would pick on me at school. There was a couple of girls that stood by me all the way through, and if they realised that I was having a hard time, they would jump in and they would say, leave her alone or else.
Yeah.
And I'm still in contact with those two now, but there was also ones that wanted to square up and fight me in the gym.
Yeah.
And I say fight me because that's the words they use. They would like, come on then, fight me. You dare you pea.
Which school was this?
I can't tell you now, can I?
Yeah.
Oh, damn it.
I am a confidential person,
Yes.
so
Right,
I
okay.
cannot.
That's fair enough.
But, but this was purely due to our complexion because
Yeah. Yeah, my mum was English, my dad was from Bangladesh, so my dad had to watch this. He had to watch us being upset. Some teachers were good with us. Some would take it as if you went and said to them, "Oh, so-and-so is picking on me." It would be, "Oh, it'll be okay," because I don't think they'd got it.
Yeah.
We're just this minority in school then. I mean, we're not minorities now,
No.
anywhere, in any walk of life. But we were a minority, and we'd get picked on in the street. People, bash my brothers. Some girls would try and bash us. As I say, I'm using the word bash because that's what they used to say then,
Yeah. yeah.
about bashing. But this is no way a sob story. This is a success story.
Yeah.
really is, because those things you have to endure.
Well, it forms who you are now.
Yes, exactly.
So,
exactly. And people always get karma.
100% on that.
yeah.
Always. And, I'll go into a bit more later about that. But yeah, people always get karma. And you look at these people in the street now who used to be like that with me, and you think, what's happened to you?
Yeah.
What's happened to you? Because when I remember you at school being all a big almighty, you're not.
No.
You're not now, and karma's come your way.
Yeah.
And particularly with females, how can females treat another female like that because of skin colour? How can they?
Yeah.
Yes.
But I'm glad that females like myself have become a success, because they're not. And sometimes you think, what goes round comes round.
Exactly.
I can relate a little bit to that. There was a girl at school when I went to school. Everybody liked her. She was popular. She was quite pretty. But the way she was brought up, I don't know if it was a parenting or the people she was hanging around with, but she was quite racial. So she'd drop the P word all the time.
Yes.
I'm not sure how, but I was on Facebook and she popped up. And when I saw her, I thought, oh my God, she let herself go. She's this kind of person that should be in her pajamas walking her kids to school now when she's got no career, no job, she's got no work ethic. And I'm like, because you thought you were God's gift and you were going to get everything handed to you, this is what God's given to you.
Yes, and I totally agree with that. And Richard knows about this story, that going all the way through school to leaving, as I say, we was in the A group and intelligent, or I would think I was intelligent. But the homework we got, obviously lots and lots of it, I was able to do it. So obviously there was some intelligence there.
Yeah.
But when we left school and we all went out in the big wide world, and as I say, Richard knows this story, we were out having some food somewhere, and this lad from school who used to call me the P word, he came up to me and he said, "Oh, hi, Isma." He said, "How are you? How are you doing?" And then as the conversation went on, he said, "Do you mind if I ask you out for a drink?" I thought, I don't think so. I thought, you cheeky so-and-so, after what you put me through, and after how people allowed it to happen. It was allowed socially.
To them it's...
And it was allowed consciously as well.
To them, they forgot.
They forgot how they treated me, and I just looked at him, I thought...
But they don't forget about the scars that it leaves on people.
No, they don't. They don't forget that. And he was... I said no politely, but I think he could tell by my face that, how dare you even ask that question?
Yeah.
Is it all okay now?
Yeah.
Is it all okay now? You come out and think, oh, this must turned out okay. But anyway, off he went, and et cetera, et cetera. But we were brought up, I would feel, very strict. Very, very strict. Dad was Muslim. We used to, and I don't want to offend the Muslim community.
Our Muslim said, "Go ahead, don't worry."
You can cut this out if you wish, but my Dad obviously wanted us to be Muslim, etc., etc.
Yeah.
But he did say, when you become of an age and you are sensible, you choose what you want to do, whether you want to be Muslim or if you want to just be, the Christian or whatever you want to do. So we used to abide by my dad's rules when we were home. But if ever Mum and Dad went out, we'd get the bacon sandwiches out, right, which you're not allowed to do. So we used to get the bacon sandwiches on the go and cook this. And because there was 10 of us, we used to stand in a row so one could pass down to one of them. Mum and Dad's come in, and then pass it down the line into the kitchen.
10 brothers, like, there's 10 of you all in all, so 5 brothers, 5 sisters.
No, 6 sisters, 3 brothers.
Jeez,
wow.
Jesus.
Christmas at yours would have been expensive. Jeez.
So Oh, we're all best of friends, and love them all to bits. We've lost two of them, but one was recent. But so we used to get this frying pan, knowing my dad and mum was on the way, and we're like, "What we're going to do with it? It's going to smell it. What shall we do?" So one of my brothers said, "Throw it out the window. Throw it out the window. You won't be able to smell it with the air freshener." Blah 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 blah. So in coming mum and dad, while my dad was doing his prayers and everything else, and he later went to bed. Then my mum came in the kitchen and she said, "Can you do me a bacon sandwich while your dad's in bed?" Well, no, we'll get into trouble. So it was very, very strict, but we did get up to silly things as a family because, yes, we're brought up Muslim, but we don't practice it. Or we feel it and things, of course. Yeah. Don't practice it, and basically we were naughty by taking the mickey.
Yeah.
But that's all part of who we are. It's all part of who I am. And, standing by my brothers and sisters, being strong for them when they're being picked on, the younger ones.
Yeah.
Because there was 5 younger than me.
Oh, okay.
So you had to help in some ways of, if one of them's upset and so-and-so has said this or said that. And you have to get through to people, not just your family, that people have got something missing to treat you like that. But it's learned behaviour. It is not something they've grown up with.
Yeah, yeah.
It's learned behaviour.
I say this, a child will only learn what the child is taught.
Yes.
So if I'm there at home while my daughter's reading a book and I'm there having a cigarette, she will remember that my dad had a cigarette. Yeah. She will think it's normal. She's learned that off me. Yeah. Everything's about choices and decisions. And I get that completely. I remember every child's not born the way... No. They're not born like that to do that. They've learned it from somewhere.
They have, and they're not born to, go into school and start calling people the P word. It's acceptable. It was socially acceptable, and it was very conscious. And people would hear them calling us them names at the gate, but nobody stopped them because it was the norm.
Yeah.
But we didn't have 3 heads and all the rest of it. But as time went on, you become a fighter. You become a fighter because no one else is fighting for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one. Mum and dad, they weren't well off, they were comfortable, they looked after us, they fed us, made sure we had school uniforms, etc., etc. But we had to stay as a group and become strong and fight for yourself because others won't. So going back to education, qualified to go to college, but for some reason didn't go. And then for personal matters, which I won't go into, it was I had to get a job. I had to get a job. And my first job was cleaning. And I used to mop A&E out, accident emergency, in Scunthorpe. I used to go, do it every day, mop the floors, clean the offices, get on your hands and knees if need be. But I had to earn some money.
Yeah.
So instead of thinking to myself, well, you're clever enough to go and do so-and-so, no. I had to go back, to grassroots and get the money, earn it the best way I could with the commitment to that job. And people used to say things like, you're a cleaner. Well, yes, cleaners are important.
Yeah.
Even in today's world, they are important. If you didn't have all these bits to the jigsaw, all these little golden nuggets to help your business, you're going nowhere.
So was that your first employment?
Yes. I applied, it was my friend, Chris, who worked at the hospital, and she egged me on to apply for this cleaning job. And I just thought, well, I don't really want to do that yet. But she said, oh, Isma, they're shouting out for people and the money's good and it will help your situation. So in that day, you had to have a full medical, chest x-ray, the lot, because it was hospital.
Yeah.
Because you're on the wards, you're on intensive care wards. So you had to make sure you had nothing. So, successfully got that job, and I did that for a few years. But I also got a job in a cafe as well, just serving drinks and food. And again, that was to help my situation.
Yeah.
To help bring the money in, because Mum and Dad weren't going to pay. I think you were saying earlier, Lee, that you have to help yourself in this world, don't you?
Yeah.
But you can't rely on others, because if you rely on others, you never have any values, you never have any vision, because it's easy come, easy go. As I always say to Richard when he's, flashing out on things, I'll say to him, plentiful. You're being plentiful. And he goes, what are you talking about? Well, you don't need that, Richard. You don't need yet another air fryer, yet another Ninja. Not another Ninja, but he does.
Full range.
Plentiful. Yes, he's got the full range.
I bet he's got the little cooker now, hasn't he?
He's got the. He's got 3. And the last one he got was the pizza oven. Yeah. So I had pizza
there's a
every
slushy
night for
maker
about
now,
6 weeks.
There's a slushy maker.
Yes.
So you worked at the hospital, you worked at a cafe, so you, instead of having one job, you had 2.
Yeah.
Back then. Wow.
Yeah.
So.
And
got to do what you can, mate, haven't you?
Yeah. Because as I said, for personal reasons, I needed to work, and I'll tell you those personal reasons. I had a child, and I absolutely adore her. She's the funeral director, but I had to feed her, and feed myself, and not many people know that out there. So they'd be like, "Oh my God, I didn't realise she was a, young mother." Well, I was, but I was strong, and I got through it.
When you say young, how young are we talking?
16.
Okay, because there are girls out there that will watch this.
Yeah.
And this is a fact. Not in a bad way, I know girls that are 14, 15, 16 that have had kids and they go, I can't make a success of my life. There's living proof right here. Yeah. Living proof right next to me. That
There is, so 16, so I went through hell again, from the racist bit. Went through hell again about, this girl is having a baby, people talking about me, people saying, well, yes, that P person would be, wouldn't she, and that type of thing. But, I fought through it, and I knew that I had my daughter to look after, and then I met someone and they looked after her as well, so I was lucky in that way. But I knew I had to be strong, because I was facing, like my dad did, walking down the street with a pushchair when I was only a girl myself.
Yeah.
So I had to be strong, I had to be brave.
Yeah.
Like my dad, Mum and Dad's first child, my big sister, she's your colouring. And that's how it is. Like I've got one of my kids is dark like us, and then the others are not. They're like you. Yeah. So, and that's the same all the way through the family. My dad had to push my big sister down the street with a different skin colour. So he was brave and he was strong and he took the stick. So I did exactly the same. Like history repeated itself, but in a different way. This single mother who's only a child. So to I say to girls out there, go for what you want to do, go for your dreams. Somebody knocks you back, you got to believe in it though. If you don't believe in it, you won't get anywhere.
No.
So from that, when my eldest got a little bit older, I went into retail, and everything I'm telling you is a success story, like I said at the very beginning. So this is not a sob story. I hope it makes you ladies out there strong listening to me, because you will get there. Now the first retail job I had, I was just on the checkouts, scanning tins of beans, and the cabbage and whatever. And I wanted to go into management, because I knew that for me to get better things in life, I would have to climb up the ladder.
Yeah.
So Alison, bless her, she was the HR personnel manager. She was fantastic with me, and I said to her what I wanted to do. And I went to her, though, and this is what one big thing I say to everyone: manage your manager to get where you want to be.
Yeah.
So I went to Alison and I said to Alison, I really want to go into something, supervisory role, management role. How can you help me to do that?
Mm-hmm.
And she said, well, there's nothing yet, Isma, but if you look at these bits and bobs of what the policies and procedures are, she said, when it comes to something that comes up and you get interviewed, you will have that knowledge before the next person. So
Yeah.
I managed my manager to get to where I wanted to be.
Right.
And this little job came up, and I was doing 3 nights a week on the tills, and this little job came up as a supervisor, and it was only for 8 hours. But I took the cut in wages and I took the cut in my hours, because that meant I was on the ladder.
Right.
So the 8 hours I did, I was on that ladder. And some people thought, well, are you mad? Why would you take a cut in income? And I just said, because that's the only way I'm going to improve my
Right.
skills, my desires and my wishes to move up the ladder. So that was a big change for me, because I had to then, let's use the words again, jealousy came up. Why has she got that job?
Yep.
What has she done to get that job? Who is she pally with to get that job? So on that little 8-hour supervisor's role, Wayne took care of the kids, and in some respects, if it wasn't for him looking after the kids, I wouldn't have been able to go on to the management bit.
Yeah.
So, and I'm very grateful for that, and I often think about the times where they'd ring and say, Isma, we haven't got a supervisor, can you come? And then I'd just say to Wayne, is it okay? And he said, yeah, off you go. So the retail started then, and then I moved into another retail position as the checkout manager. And again, you get the, how come she's got the job, and how come she managed that, and but those people out there know who they are.
Yeah.
I don't have to name names, that they know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got to promoted to the personnel manager, HR manager, over 400 staff.
Jeez. Whew.
And I had to look after wages, disciplinaries. Like one disciplinary I had to do with this young man that had given his workmate in the warehouse a wedgie. So and you try keeping a straight face when you investigate and ask him why he did it, right? So I know. So disciplinaries, training, the welfare of staff, and I loved being the people person, because I loved helping people. I loved helping people with their dreams, and I have had people that are now paramedics, area training managers, etc., not just in the second retail, but retail before that, where they've said, but you inspired me, Isma, you inspired me, because you used to tell us stories about you came from nothing to this, to what I was doing there. And that was a big responsibility, but racism came in again. After the years of not having it, it came in again.
Right.
And it was obvious this person was targeting me. It was obvious he didn't want to be in my company, but his position, he had to be. So it made it very difficult, and he destroyed me.
Right.
He destroyed me. He even got others on his bandwagon and line of thinking, and he destroyed me. And I had a meeting. Well, I was invited to this meeting, and basically my job was on the line. It was on the line because of this person who said I wasn't a good manager. I didn't show my presence, to the staff. She's basically, I've seen her in tears. I can't be having somebody like that, next to me. I can't have somebody like that doing wages. And he did everything he could to ruin me. So this person that didn't like me, it was obvious it was racism, because he also had a bit of a go at a girl from another department who happened to be darker skinned.
Right.
And also a manager who was darker skinned. And it was so clear that when he destroyed me and I was at risk of losing my job, and I got a letter in the post to say what I wasn't doing, that I wasn't being present, I wasn't being a leader, I wasn't this, so all the things he said, but what he didn't say was, I don't like her because of her skin colour. But he did all those things, and one big giveaway was when we're having a big meeting and he had to sit next to me, but he faced the other way. So I could see his back.
Wow.
So I knew then, and I also got told, and all those people who may be listening or may not be listening, this person knows, I asked her about when he said, what do you think about me having a black personnel manager? So I reported him to the powers that be. Nothing came of it.
No. That's not surprising.
And we're talking of years and years and years. We're talking 30 years ago.
Yeah.
But nothing came of it. So I was at the stage where I just thought, you are going to kill me. You are going to make me have an accident, because I was all consumed with hurt, with disbelief, and that nobody believed me.
No.
Nobody believed me.
It was different then, wasn't it?
Of course it was, yeah. But I got one of the other big managers to come down with me. He said, what's the matter? I said, just come with me. And I challenged him, and he denied it all. And then he somehow informed a district person that I'd said this. But I never got addressed by any of those people to ask me if I needed any help, what examples I could give. I didn't get anything. And at the same time, I'm still helping these male and females and giving them confidence to help in their job roles, giving them confidence of how to handle a situation, giving them confidence to say, you can do that and don't let anyone beat you down.
Yeah.
Manage your manager. If you've got a problem, go to your manager or go to another manager or come to me.
Yeah.
And tell me what you want. Tell me how we can resolve it. And through all that pain, I still did that. And I'm proud of myself for that. And I used to join into anything that was happening, staff involvement, like, the fancy dress and things like that, and put this front on that I'm happy in what I'm doing. I'm going to join in, we're going to do this, we're going to do that for different things, Christmas time or Easter or whatever. And I remember the management were dressed up. I can't remember what I was dressed up as. I can't remember. But management dressed up like as a doctor, as a paramedic, as Elvis Presley, as, Liberace and all those things. And some of you might not know who these people are. And all of a sudden a first aid call went out. So because of the job I did, I went straight to where the first aid call was to make sure everything was in order, and the first aiders had turned up. And this man had collapsed in the foyer, and there was the fancy dress people. One of them, the doctor, one of them, Elvis Presley, and I can't remember the other one around him on the floor. And this man, they put him in the recovery position, and this gentleman came round and he looked up and he said, looked up at Elvis, and everybody went, "Am I dead?"
Yeah, that's great.
So I had to say to him, "No, you're not, but we're just in fancy dress." The poor thing. Am I dead? So anyway, we got that over with. I got pulled up again for spending too much time with the management, basically picking on me, bullying me. And then one day I just thought, do you know what? You're not going to do this to me anymore. I'm good at being on the theatre. I'm good at being on stage. I can create this persona, and you're not going to get to me anymore. You're not going to make me go home and lose control of my car because you're knocking on the window to up here into the office. You're not doing it anymore. So challenged him. He denied it all. Things went forward from there. And all of a sudden, I decided to, all the things he'd listed to head office, what I didn't do and what he didn't like, I decided to become the top person in it by studying, by having all policies and procedures to a T. Anybody asked me anything, it was there. Anybody asked what should be on a notice board, it was there. Everything was there, to the point where when they did regional visits, they said, "Don't worry about Scunthorpe, because it's Isma that's got that one. You have no problems there." Got to that stage. Got to the stage where that same person thought I was the best thing since sliced bread.
Wow.
All of a sudden, because he was coming out rosy because of all the systems that were in place, all the training that I'd been doing, and the store came out really well.
Yeah.
So that's why. But I never forgot that.
No.
But due to your hard work, though, basically.
Well, he had his job, of course he did. His job load was as big as mine.
Yeah.
But from the HR personnel side, I had people say, "We didn't think you'd make it. We didn't think you would be as good as what you are." And it was somebody else that told me. They said, he thinks you're the best thing since sliced bread. And because in my role, not anyone else's, but in my role, I took it all on board and I became the best I could be. So therefore, you can stick that right up.
Yeah.
Where the sun don't shine.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I became really equipped for that job, where I'd get asked to help at other places. So, and these girls around me, these female managers and things, they could do that as well.
Yeah.
They can do that. They can go from working, from being mopping floors to doing the checkouts, to becoming a supervisor, to becoming a manager, to becoming a senior manager. And that, and I'm pleased I contributed in that way to them.
Was that so you led by example, but at the same time, when you were at that stage, you kind of showed these other females to go, this is how you can do it. Look at me, look where I started and look where I am, and this is the procedures I had to do. So you went through the hardship and then you became a leader and you taught other people.
This isn't me blowing my own trumpet, because I'm not like that, but I've had females who don't work in retail anymore, paramedics, etc., who've said to me, "It's you that inspired me." And I didn't know I was inspiring people. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But, I made them better.
Yeah.
I made them better managers, because they all had loads of training to do with all the staff they've got, and they're getting bogged down with it. And how do we do it? And I brought all the management up, all 45 of them, and I said, "This is how you do it. This is how you tackle that training situation. Tell me what you've done." And I'd pick a manager out and I'd say, "Lee, what have you done with your members of staff today? He'd say, oh, I've shown them how to work this. Or I said, right, so you have done some training, but you don't think you have. Write that down on their training card.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, that's what you're doing all day.
Mm-hmm.
You are helping your staff. You are training them all the time. So don't say, any of you in this room, I haven't got time to train. Because you're all training.
Yeah. You're
every day.
learning all the time.
All the time. And one particular manager, he went on to be regional, whatever, and he said it was the best constructive meeting I've had. He said it took a load of weight off us.
Mm-hmm.
That I'll just say, right, go into personnel, get your training card and just sign that you've done the training programme on how to operate the donut machine or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, because that's what, you know, everybody was training. I just took the pressure off them.
Yeah.
You know, there's people out there that probably think, oh, right, you didn't help me. Well, the people I didn't help was the people that didn't help themselves.
Yep. Again, decision and choices. Decision and choices.
Yeah.
That's what makes us successful or not successful, is them two words. Decision and choices.
Yeah.
Simple as.
That's it.
And, you know, one manager, and I still see him on the odd occasion, and I say to him, I'm sorry of how I was so strict with you in the workplace. But I said, what you have to remember is we were getting kicked from above. So we were getting kicked from above, and then that person would kick the next one, and then they'd come down to us, the seniors, and senior managers. And then we had to kick the staff.
Yep.
That was the... that was...
The chain.
Yeah, it was almost like habitual. If you got kicked from there, you got kicked further down till you kicked the last person down the ladder. And I explained to this lad, and I said, I never meant to be awful, but you have to remember, we were being kicked everywhere, you know, to get it right. So some people out there will say she was horrible. And
you can't please everybody all the time.
In some situations I was, but I had to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if I wasn't sharp and putting them right, whether it's disciplinary or whatever, then I was going to get it from the person above me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a dog-eat-dog situation then. It's not like that now, but...
Isma, my next question,
Yes?
and I have thought this time and time again, but how did you meet Richard?
I was sent to Gainsborough to work in disgrace. And I won't go into what that disgrace was, but I was sent, same company, but in disgrace to Gainsborough. And all the management had said, for the next weekend, why don't we all go out and we'll show you round Gainsborough. Well, Gainsborough then was like a cross to me because I'd been sent there. You know, it wasn't a choice. And Gainsborough then wasn't as quiet as it is now. There was lots of places open, and you know, went out. We went to the club afterwards, and I saw this gentleman. I'd already wasn't with Wayne then, obviously, and I saw this gentleman across the club. And I said to one of the managers I was with, I said, who's that? So he said, Richard Kane. And I said, no. Why? I said, I want to marry that man. He said, you what? I said, I'm going to marry that man. And then a few weeks later, I saw him again. And we went out. And then it's history from there, because all of a sudden we've met like for like. Strong, same sense of humour, same ambitions, same goals in life, same, we help people. My dad used to say, I always help lame ducks. He said, you always will. You know, you'll always help a lame duck, Isma. But that's the way I am. But we're both the same like that. But he gets me and I get him. Mm-hmm. And we have the best laughs together.
Yeah.
But I told Richard that about 2 years later, that I said, I'm going to marry that man. And he said, but you never even spoke to me. I said, I just said, I'm going to marry that man. and I did marry him.
Can you remember? Now this is a good one, but I'm going to listen to the rest of this. Who went to who first and started the conversation, and how did it go?
Richard came to me.
Okay.
He'd seen me in one. I don't know if you'll remember the pub, and I can't really remember the name. But was there? It's on the corner. They used to queue up to get in.
Lee, I'm not. I won't have a clue.
It's Lord Street.
Is it extras?
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh! Yes!
Black Bull, the Black Bull.
No, well, this was extras.
It used to be.
Oh, right.
Extras.
Extras.
Yeah.
It used to be packed.
Oh.
Yeah.
And Richard seen me in there, again with some work colleagues, and he'd seen me in there, and somebody had seen him looking at me, and they said, "What are you looking at that girl for?" And he went, "Oh, nothing, she's out of my league." And our wedding song is "She's Out of My League." Patrick Swayze.
I don't know that song. I don't know who
Oh,
that is
mate.
either. I don't know who that is either. I'll be honest.
You don't know who Patrick Swayze is.
We're married to that song. She's out of my league. She's out of my league. And then we got talking, and it went from there. And I remember we had such a good conversation. One of the managers that particular night, she said, "Do you want me to rescue you from him?" I said, "No, I'm fine, thank you very much. I'm enjoying myself." and it all went from there. We just got stronger and stronger. The doubters of this world said, "I'll give them 6 months."
Yeah.
Then we got past 6 months, and the same group said, "I'll give them a year." And the same group said, "I'll give them 18 months. And the same group said, "I'll give them 2 years." And 25 years we've been together this year, next year.
Yeah.
So they can't say that anymore, can they?
I was
Not really, no.
25 years. Jeez.
Next year, for 25 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
So all the doubters out there and the people that want to make a success of things, don't let the doubters and don't let the toxic people stop you from doing it, stop you from
No.
achieving.
Yeah.
You know, because you can do it. I'm not saying everybody can, you know, but some of us can. Well, you
Yeah.
two in this room can and will get there and will succeed
Yeah.
because you've not got negative people around you.
No. No.
I need to tell you this story because this was one of the things Richard laughed at when I first gave up retail to do what we're doing now.
Yeah.
And I remember we were laughing, telling him this story, and you know, forgive me, everyone out there, because I didn't mean to laugh, but as part of the role, you had to do all the welfare for everybody. You know, the welfare, health and safety. Have they got this? Have they got that? Have they got the uniform? And this particular day, I was on duty, so I was the senior on duty. The rest, it was a Sunday, so they weren't there, so it was me. And I had to ensure that, and it was one of these 2-minute silence days, and I had to make sure that every department, every person, every manager ensured everything was going to be ready for that 11 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't just that you could hear, you know, we're going to have a 2-minute silence at 11 o'clock. There's a lot of work to go towards that.
Yeah.
You know, stopping customers. And can you remember them? Well, they still have them now. You walk into a supermarket and there's a child's toy, and you put money in.
Yeah. It's the 2p machines where it goes swirls around.
You know, like there's a car and they ride on the car.
Oh, yeah.
Outside
Yeah.
the supermarkets. They've still got them now, haven't they?
Oh,
Yeah.
wow, yeah.
And so made sure other things are unplugged, so everything's silent. So with 30 minutes, and the particular manager of that area, yes, everything's off, isn't it? Right. Are all your staff ready? I used to make them all come out the front of their departments for this silence. Is everything? Yeah, everything's okay. 30 minutes into the silence, and all of a sudden you heard, "Yabba dabba doo!" from Flintstones.
Yeah.
So, I'm like, what do I do now? So, please, I'm thinking in my head, please stop. Don't do another yabba dabba doo, whatever. Just don't do it. Because we're so used to hearing it,
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if it does 3 yabba dabba doos or just the one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I'm thinking, oh, please not. Anyway, we got through that, and I was telling Richard of these funny stories throughout all this pain that this person gave me, but at the same time giving strength to others. Now, through that pain when it was really bad and when he destroyed me, I didn't help anybody. I was trying to help myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no doubt there's plenty of people out there say, oh, she didn't help me, she was horrible, or she ignored me, or she, you know. Yeah, so going from that to what we left, I took all them wounds with me.
Mm-hmm.
And there were proper wounds, you know, right through to the core. And I took all them wounds with me, and I built up the person I am now. So I used them wounds to create wisdom. Now that wisdom that I created from all of that was people will try and destroy. They'll try and belittle. They'll try and say things to put you off the mark.
Yeah.
But remember, these people are human. And despite what he did to me, I feel sorry for him that he was unable to attack me in another way.
Mm.
He shouldn't have gone down the racist route.
Yeah.
And I feel sorry for him. And I see him now, and karma's come round. He doesn't see me, but I see him. And he's not the person he was.
Right.
So karma has come round. And maybe, or so I've heard, that he's not in that position anymore.
Right.
Tell me why.
There's an obvious reason to that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say he's not in that position because of racism. I would say because he can't handle staff. He can't handle people. So therefore it's attack, attack, attack.
Yeah.
You know, and you don't get anywhere by attacking, even though I didn't when I was down in myself. You don't get anywhere with attacking. You talk to people, you help them, you coach them, you show them the way, if you like.
Right. Isma, can you tell me about Stallard, Kane Associates?
I can, as you are aware from the beginning of this podcast, of how many arms we had to that, and Richard also mentioned it in his. We started off just as Stallard Kane Associates, and I took all them wounds and wisdoms with me, so I was already ready. You know, we left jobs with salaries.
Yeah.
Richard's car in his case.
Yeah.
We left, we had nothing. And there was just the two of us. And the first phone call we got for Stallard Kane Associates was in the little bedroom. The phone rang, well, neither of us would answer it. You know, like, so he pushes me out the door of the bedroom, shuts it, and I'm like, and that was the first thing. And I just went, hello, Stallard Kane Associates, can I help you? And that was one of our first inquiries.
Brilliant.
And then it went from there. And it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy not having any money.
No.
It wasn't easy tackling this business we'd created that made us look bigger than what we were. There was
Right.
only two of us. And but because we called it Stallard Kane Associates, we looked bigger. So the pair of us were doing hour after hour after hour, travelling with no money, trying to make ends meet, you know, trying to get across the bridge and this, that and the other. And then there came a time where both of us, you know, we've had tears over it. Can't do it anymore. You know, just can't do it anymore. And I'd Richard and he'd be with me, ringing me and I'd be ringing him. Just can't do it. You know, it's making me ill. I got shingles. Doctor said because of the stress and everything at the time, and my ear was hurting. It had gone into my ear, and I put that down to being on the phone. I keep saying to Richard,
Yeah.
with the shingles because of that. And it did wear, it wore us down, but there was a little thing that we'd say to each other. We haven't give up good jobs to give in.
No.
You know, we've got the fight in us, we've got the determination. And that determination gets tested when you recruit.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you know of an Elizabeth Bishop, you probably don't. And she's an American poet, and she used to say, or in this poem she says, a man is only as big as the shadow under his hat. So that means, how I interpret it, because you can interpret it any way you like, that shadow that we had under our hats wasn't enough to get Stallard Kane moving.
Right.
So we came out of that shadow and started to recruit people to come in, one by one, when we could afford it. Because under our hat, we weren't getting anywhere, because no man is bigger than that shadow.
Yeah.
So, one by one, and you recruit expertise, because we can't do it ourselves. So we first recruit accounts, and we went through each area of the business, hence why we've then with SKA compliance, SKA training, employment law, PAT Test UK, all those things developed from that vision, but we had the experts come in.
Right.
Because there's no way that we could have built Stallard Kane without the people.
Yeah.
And then it's looking after those people. Some would say we didn't look after them, hence they would leave, and some would say it's the best thing that we've ever done.
I mean, recruiting people, it's a big step in responsibility, isn't it?
Yeah. Particularly when you're training them and then they don't like it and you end up paying all that money,
Yeah.
you know, to train somebody.
Can I ask you a question? Like, I said this to Richard, how important is it to have a supportive partner with you in your journey? Now, I'm going to be very open and honest. In today's generation, how you and Richard have done it, couples like you guys don't exist. Me and my friend have a laugh and a joke, but it's today's society. If you've not got money in the relationship, the partner will leave. And we have a laugh, me and my mate, and I go, when money's low, the girl's going to go. And we say that to each other because it's a true fact. How and why and how did you stay with Richard for so long when the situation was so bad at the time?
It was.
Because in today's generation, that doesn't... If you've got no income coming, a girl will say bye-bye to you. Again, not saying just a girl, a guy would do the same thing as well.
Yeah, I think, you know, Stallard Kane, we built it up to the over 3,000 clients and the 100 and odd staff, and it, you know, we kept that because from day one we both got each other what, you know, we're like, that's your ambition, and particularly because we loved each other. We wanted to help each other, we wanted to marry this dream, this company, and deliver that vision, that dream. And in the workplace, because my knowledge was HR and employment law and looking after humans and their needs, Richard didn't know any of that. So
Right.
there was never that conflict because he didn't have a clue.
Yeah.
Right, so although I've got all the health and safety, you know, that I'm able to do, Richard had no idea on that side of the business. So that department, HR department's grown quite big. So there was no conflict there because he couldn't say as much, can't do that for health and safety, or can't do, because, you know, can't do that discipline because of, no, because you know nothing about it, Richard.
So basically your love and your passion is what kept you together even in the hardest times. And the reason why it's such a meaningful question to me is because I've always looked for a partner that will see the vision and go, let's do it. And most of my uncles and aunties, they've done exactly what you and Richard have done. Do you get what? And they've done it together. And
You've just got to be careful that both of you have to remember that both of you are human beings. You're not machines. So both of you have to recognise when the other one's flagging.
Yeah.
Both of you have to recognise that something's wrong.
Yeah. You have to be in tune with each other.
Yeah,
don't you?
like, Richard doesn't look too good today. What's this about? And vice versa.
Yeah.
But the best thing is that we have the laughs we've had. Even today, the laughs we've had in the difficult situations, the laughs we've had in when we haven't got a coat for Stan, the boxer. We haven't got a coat for him when he was this big, so we both went into this charity shop and bought a little coat. We could only afford £1, but that £1 bought this coat. So, the build-up of that is another family donated that clothing, and that clothing helped our grandson, and that £1 allowed our grandson to be warm in his pushchair, because we'd left his coat warm in his pushchair. And then you realise from that you're building a foundation, and by buying that coat you're helping that charity.
Yeah.
And so on. But you have to be in tune. Of course, the difficult times where I'd say to Richard, you ladies out there will probably laugh, I hope you do. I'd say to Richard, I can't afford that lipstick, it's only £1.90. And I really want it. You men won't understand that, but and he's going, well, we can't afford it. I know, but I like it. So there's even things down to that, and rice and peas, and trying to manage, with the food we had in.
Yeah.
And bearing in mind, looking after the kids, so they've got food as well.
Richard was saying that, so he was like, I think he said Lidl that you used to go buy sausages and
bread.
Your oven was that battered that it'd be on a slump and the stuff would go great, and you'd put it back and be like,
and pretend it was okay.
Yeah.
I remember we didn't have any bedroom curtains, and I remember speaking to one of the ladies that lived at the back of us, and as she was walking past our house, she just, oh, hi, Isma, how are you? Blah, blah, blah. She said, I wish you'd get some curtains in your bedroom, on your bedroom window. And I just said 3 things to her. Can't afford it. And she didn't know where to put herself. That told me then that people say things and do things without consideration of why haven't they got any curtains. It's not that they don't want to, we didn't have any, couldn't afford it. So we used to go to bed, Richard like on commander style, because you could see through the window, and I'd be like this getting under the quilt, and so people don't think, they need to consider. There's always a reason people behave in
certain ways.
Yeah.
Some of it's learned, yes. Some of it is through experience, they behave in that way. But we stuck together through thick and thin in business, and we've managed to help people pay their mortgage, help people pay their bills, help people have a secure working contract. And we're proud of that, even though we don't have it now. We're proud that we gave them that start.
Yeah, you should be,
in life, to look after their family, to put food on the table for them.
Yeah.
So we take pride in that, and we always will.
Isma, can I ask you about your first HR client, please?
Yes, the first HR client, the employment law side of things, Richard promised me that because health and safety started to take off much quicker. And this is before we branched out into risk management and everything. It was just health and safety, employment law. Richard always said to me, when you get your first 100 clients, HR clients, I'll take you to China Rose in Bartry. I'm still waiting. I've never been. So the first client was Cropley Coaches, Sandra, John and Chris, family-run business. And Sandra's lovely, stunning woman, lovely to talk to, took advice in the way it was meant, because I used to always say to the client first, what is it you want out of this employee issue? I never used to dictate the law to them. I'd say, what do you want from this problem employee, if I can use that word? And they'd say, well, basically I just need them to come to work on time. The time and attendance is rubbish. That's just a simple example. So I would explain to them how they would work on that. bring them in and just say, why are you 15 minutes late every Wednesday? This is just a simple example. Well, because I need to do this or I need to do that. And then consider changing their shift so they can come in on time because you've changed their 15 minutes.
Yeah.
That's how simple things to resolve something. Or if it's, if it's a disciplinary matter, get your facts. If you're going to dismiss somebody, you've got to really get your facts right and the right reasons. But whatever, and I said this a few times to corporate coaches and to all the other clients that asked me, do not paint every employee with the same brush. So if Lee's done something wrong, or you have, Z, it's you I'm going to talk to. It's you I'm going to talk to. I'm not going to send a blanket email out or a blanket message to everybody saying, this has come to our attention and you need to all think, speak to that person, because I'll tell you what, everybody in your workplace will be offended because it wasn't me that didn't switch the power off that machine.
Yeah.
But you've sent it to all of us.
Yeah.
Then you start losing respect. So you've got to gain respect by respecting other people. So you'll never get to the bottom of anything in business if you throw out blanket emails. It's like you're almost afraid to challenge a person.
Yeah.
As long as you challenge them respectfully and with care and ask them, so Lee, I'm going to say to you, why did you leave the machine on?
Yeah.
And he's going to tell me why he's left it on. And do you think that was right? Do you understand that's cost the company money? But that's the way to talk to them, and then say, what would you do about it if this was your company, Lee?
Yeah. Exactly.
When the bills are rising and things, what do you think we should do? And he will say something like, and again, these are all simple examples. Lee would say something like, well, what I need to do is double check myself before I leave the building.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he said it. So I haven't said to him, you need to check everywhere before you leave the building. He said it himself.
So communication, a massive part.
Get the solution, get it to come out of their mouths. And then when he does it again, I can say, you told me that you were going to check the building before you left, and we're here again.
Yeah.
I didn't tell you to check the building, you told me.
Isma, what made Stallard Kane so successful?
Simple answer, Richard and I.
Yeah.
And I say that because along with that, my wounds and my wisdom, and Richard and his determination to build health and safety up as a major concern, and mining employment law, but the staff made it successful.
Yeah.
Because we had to have every area of expertise, because if we didn't, we'd lose the next job.
Yeah.
So construction, for instance, we have to have people that had construction knowledge. For schools, you had to have somebody that had school knowledge.
Yeah.
Anything you like, all over the spectrum of business, we had to have people in-house that could handle that client.
Yeah.
So we matched the client with the advisor, because if you got an advisor that was too soft, you couldn't let them go to a client that would bite the heads off. So you had to have the strong people in the right places, and the more gentle ones in more softer skills. Mm-hmm. So the people made Stallard Kane successful, and I hope some of them learnt through their leaders.
Yeah.
Also, I was studying it as well, and gained my masters while running the business. So that gave me that different outlet of, instead of brainwashing myself with the business, that I could also switch off and study for my masters. I also became a fellow of Chartered Institute of Personal Development because of that, because of my work, because of the contribution to society. I'm also a fellow of the Australian Personnel Institution. Every year I get an invite to the Australian Ball, and every year they don't send me a ticket for the flight. So every year I don't go. And that's all with the hard work in between what we've done for the community and further afield. And I would say to any girl out there, if Isma, who is a nobody, can bring up children, can run a business, can challenge people, can get responses from people respectfully, any lady out there can do the same. Masters is one of the most difficult things I've done, educational-wise. But I did it. And my book is in Lincoln University Library. My thesis is in there to help other people.
Okay.
To say, I did mine on discipline and grievance in the workplace. So that thesis is in that. And you've got to read about 100 books, and log them and reference them and this, that and the other. So, but I did it whilst building Stallard Kane up.
That's amazing.
But again, the staff are the key. And make sure you talk to your staff, make sure you put your pen down, make sure you listen when they come in. It took me a long time to stop Richard from on the computer while somebody's talking to him. It took me a long time to stop him. I said, you just stop, listen to them, look at them, ask how you can help them. How do you think we can resolve it? Going back to before, how do you think we can resolve this workplace issue? And it's so simple because they resolve it themselves without you dictating to them. So the success is looking after your staff, making sure they've got what they need, making sure the welfare is good. We introduce welfare dinners, and Rich used to hate them because they aren't doing anything for 2 hours. Things like that. But looking after the staff and being respectful.
Isma, if there is a young female out there who has had kids very early on in life, so 14, 15, 16, and any young female that wants to start a business, what would be your best advice you could give to them?
My advice would be know your market. If you're unique, like we were 24 years ago, we were unique, Stallard Kane. So if you're unique in that, do a bit of research, look at how you're going to deliver. What do you need to deliver that product, whether it be a training department or whatever. It applies to all aspects of business. Know your market, know how you're going to achieve it, and know what resources you need to do that. Don't build or start building a business that's not going to be successful because everybody else is doing it. For example,
nails or hairdressers.
I mean, what I do, there's only 2 people in the country that do it.
Exactly. So you've got it, and you know what you need.
It's a very niche thing.
I would say to any young girl, young mother, whatever age group of training, studying, I've done it all, create your business in something that is needed out there. But bear in mind, if you create another nail salon and it doesn't work, all you've done is upset yourself. You feel a failure. You feel that what you did was totally wrong. Why didn't anybody come and use my nail salon? Why didn't somebody give me a good review? Why didn't... Things like that. And then you start becoming stressed and anxious. So don't put yourself through that. Talk to people like me, if you wish, and say, where do I go from here? I've done it to many people across, the past few years where I've said to them, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to build up on. You're not selling yourself properly. For example, you're working at that house across there, but your banner isn't outside to say who you are.
Yes.
So And he went, I never thought about that. I said, yeah, you've been across that house doing all the inside of it, but nobody knows you're there and nobody knows that you're a business.
Yeah.
And he then put his poster banner thing outside, and he started getting people ringing and saying, are you able to come and do X, Y, Z? And, and we've done that a lot with people and said to them, you're going about that in the wrong way because you're jumping and running before you can walk.
Yeah.
So you spend all this money on advertising, you spend all this money on all your gear, you spend all this money on promoting yourself, but you haven't sold yourself first.
Yeah.
People buy off the person. People buy off you. They don't buy because you've got a fancy camera there.
No.
They buy off you, and then they'll look at the camera.
Yeah.
And that's what I advise young girls, women, married women, grandmothers, whatever. You can do things and you will get there.
Yeah.
And the pain Rich and I went through, when we look back, we were just saying last night, I don't know how we did it.
No.
But we did. And now we've got Isma Homes, residential properties that we've started.
Yeah.
And we're on with that. I'm hoping to do talks in school, the academies, engagement to the students. I've done one session with a class with a supported person, talking to the kids about criminal law.
Yeah.
And what the powers of the court can do, sort of getting it across to the kids now.
Yeah.
Kids, they start from there until teenagers and things. So I'm hoping to do that and be let loose to do it in the schools. I've done one school, I've got another one in February. But again, supported until I decide if I want to do that.
Yeah.
But so in the meantime, that helps the kids see, hey up. I might do this wrong, but there's people in court that can do a lot more. The courts are much powerful than kids think.
Yeah.
They just think, please tell me off and that'll be it. They're not. It goes to court. It's the courts. People like me and my colleagues make a decision on them.
It's like I say, Gainsborough has the right entrepreneurs. There's just not enough light being shined on them. It's like I said to yourself, said to Richard and other guests. If you message these people and say, can I get some advice? This is what I'm thinking of doing. I know Isma, Richard, Mark Stocks, Carl, Rick Hart, any of these people, if they spoke to them, they will give you the time to say, go for your dreams. I will help you go. Bro, me and Richard, he knows this and you know this, we have a thing, Monday Motivation. So we speak about what we've got planned for the week, what we're going to do for the week, what I've set myself for the goal and how am I going to achieve it. And then Richard would go, if I'm struggling with someone, I would message him and say, what do you think to this? And he would be like, I'd do it like this.
I'm sure he pulls the reins on you as well.
Yeah, he does. He does, 100%. Because
you've got to, because you're running too fast. We've got like Nathan, the MD of Stallard, Kane, and Carl, the operations manager. Them two developed their wings and they've got right to the top. And they're going further. And that's because they listened, they took on board.
Yeah.
And if they had struggles, they would manage their manager and ask for help. They didn't just think, right, I need to do this, I need to visit so. It was, I'm struggling here. Can you help me?
Yeah.
And then the resolution comes from you telling me. And if I can help you in that way, I will. Same goes for anyone else out there.
Yeah. And it's, like I said, you can only learn from people who have been there, done that, and got the experiences. Like you said, you've got your wounds, you've been there, you've done that. You could advise any female, any girl, or any entrepreneur where to go and what to do. And that's just the fact of how it is in business.
Which is what Stallard Kane did, with employment law, those clients, with health and safety clients. We advised the directors and owners of the company of how they should go forward and how they should handle it.
Yeah.
We had a client who's been on Stallard Kane's books for years who said to Nathan, the MD, can you tell Isma that I miss her very, very much? And that was yesterday.
Oh, wow.
And it's just, resolving things for people. And when you've got that arm to help them, then you're valuable, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So, Isma, what does the future hold?
Well, with the Isma Homes development properties, residential properties, because of COVID, again, and because of materials and everything going sky high in price, we've got 3 properties on being built. One's built, one's halfway, and one hasn't been started yet. We don't think we'll break even.
No.
Not that we want to make lots of money out of people or lots of money out of families. What's the point in all the hard work we're putting in when we might have to pay into that pot ourselves?
Yeah.
You know, like you said earlier, maybe, you know, say a £300,000 and £400,000 house, and if you're putting 50,000 on top of that into it, what's the point? So the future is
uncertain for now?
I'm sorry?
Is it uncertain?
It's uncertain, but I'd like to develop the school thing to help students.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
Yeah, to help students and give them the experience of their knockbacks at school. You know, that you do get knockbacks, but your teachers are there to help, and if they're not helping, then you do something about it. But, so, yeah, it's uncertain life for me. I'd like to go for my doctorate, PhD, but one of my university friends put me off. She said, "What for?" Because I like studying.
Yeah.
I like to give my knowledge to other people. And I says, "Yeah, but what's the point?" And that doubted me a bit. I thought, "Yeah, what is the point?" You know, but Richard would love me to continue doing it.
Have you guys got holidays that you're planning to go to, and you know, for the future?
We've
Richard?
just got back from Sri Lanka.
Yes, I know.
Made us poorly. And we've bought the motorhome, as you know. Did you know? Yeah. So we love. I mean, at first, again, bit of jealousy, I suppose. Somebody said in the village, "I can't see Isma going in a motorhome, can you?" Well, I have a great time in that motorhome, I'll have you know. So making comment like that, we have a fantastic time.
Yeah.
Fantastic driving around. And on one of the visits we did, staying at this motorhome overnight, and Richard told the people, because they came and said, "You're supposed to be off by 12 o'clock. You're supposed to be off site." He says, "My wife's disabled. She's not got ready yet." Right? And he made this person feel really bad, but he didn't tell me. He told them I was disabled. So I'm running up these stairs to the office to hand the keys in to the like the toilets and things, so you can get showers. Although ours has got everything in it. So I'm running up the stairs to hand things back in, not knowing he said I'm disabled.
Blimey, honestly, Richie.
So he tells me when we get out the gates,
Yeah.
and I went, "You fool." I said, "You've made me look a right idiot." And he went, "Oh," he said, "but it was funny." I went, "Oh yeah, I'm sure it was. I'm sure anything to get out of a situation."
Yeah.
They put me into one, didn't he?
Isma, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you
for coming on to business on Banter.
Thank you, Isma.
We kept saying, every time we get messaged, we were like, we are taking care of it. We are taking care of it. Again, for us, we wanted the right person. Again, you know, everybody does have a business. We just wanted the right person on. So thank you very much for coming on.
Yeah. Thank you, Isma.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
Nice to
Thanks
meet
for
you
making
both.
the effort to come down.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Guys, thank you very much for staying tuned. This year has been brilliant for us. We are very early into our stage with this, so please bear with us. We are trying our best. Again, me and Lee have a lot going on with our personal lives as well. With this is just our hobby to spread success to the younger generation.
Yeah.
Have a great Christmas. Happy New Year. Take care.
Merry Christmas, everybody.